Shalom Aleichem everyone. I hope everyone had a very, very good week. I wanted to share with you a quick thought on the Parshat, a very famous Vort. It's a Medrash. The Medrash is found in the Midrash Rabbah at the end of Parshat Mattos, and the Medrash quotes the Pasuk in Tehillim that tells us, the Pasuk in Koheles that tells us, Leiv Chacham liyamino, the heart of a Chacham is in his right, the Leiv Ksil is smolo, and the heart of the Ksil, of the fool, is towards his left. So the Medrash says that Leiv Chacham b'yaminu, the heart of the wise one, is on the right, Zeh Moshe, Leiv Ksil is smolo, and the heart of the fool is on the left, Elu b'nei Reuven u'b'nei Gad. These are the Shevet Reuven and Shevet Gad. What's the difference? Because when it comes to these two Shvatim, Shasus ha'ikar tafel ves ha'tafel ikar. They valued that which was less significant, and they placed a secondary value and that which was so much more significant. What are we referring to? The Medrash tells us, they valued money, finances, materialism much more than they valued people. Where do we find this? So we're told when they went ahead and they wanted to go ahead and have their share, their chelek, their nachla on the other side of the Jordan River, so they said, let us go ahead and set up shop over here. Let us go ahead and establish ourselves. And what did they write? The Pasuk tells us, Bamidbar Lamed Beis, Pasuk Tet Zayin, we want to set up Gidros Tzon, Nivneh Lemiknenu Po, Ve'arim Letapenu. We want to go ahead and set up pens, set up our farm system for our tzon, for our cattle, for our mikneh, and we also want to set up cities and communities for our children. They placed a priority, they placed a primacy on their cattle, on their material possessions. And Amar Lahem Moshe, a few Pesukim Moshe says, nothing doing. You have to go ahead and have your priorities set. First, you're going to help us go ahead and establish the Chalukas Haaretz. We're going to go ahead and be Kovesh Eretz Yisrael, but also he rebuked them and he said a few Pesukim later, yes, first you're going to join us, but when you go back, Benu lachem arim letapchem ve'achar gidros letzomchem. First you go ahead, and this is what you find in Perek Lamed Beis, Pasuk Chavdal. First build for yourself the cities for your children, and then the pens for your animals. This was the Chachma and the Yamin of Moshe Rabbeinu and the foolishness of the Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven. How often we find that people go ahead and they have this missense of priorities. They go ahead and sacrifice the things that are most important to them, that should be most important to them, for material possessions, for their gashmias, spending so much time in the office, so much time at work, and perhaps neglecting family, their children, the real things that are so, so crucial, so important. And the message that the Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven heard from Moshe Rabbeinu is, wait a second. Yes, of course, there's certainly a place for materialism, for your parnasa, for the mikneh, for the tzon 100%, but do not think that they have a priority over your family, over your children. First and foremost, you take care of tapechem. First you take care of your children, then you can go ahead and branch out to your possessions, to your finances. We go ahead in our community, in our society, we certainly go ahead, our time that we spend is certainly reflecting an emphasis on parnasa, and that's what we have to do. We have to spend 8, 9, 10 hours a day in the office. That's certainly the case. But the question is, on a psychological level, on an emotional level, yes, we might have to spend a lot of time in the office to go ahead and take care of parnasa. That's the reality, and that's the case. However, psychologically, emotionally, where are our priorities? When push comes to shove and you have a crisis, when you have to go ahead and deal with something, well before crisis, you have to go ahead and take advantage of being there for your children, for your family. So certainly to understand that after 70 years, the Gashmis, 80 years, 90 years, whatever it is, Admei Vesim Shana, the Gashmis is gone. The family, those core values, that's very, very significant. As you all know from many sichot that I've given, that this is a big yesod in the 7 habits of highly effective people. And I do want to recognize that Stephen Covey was nifter this week. And again, but you read that book, you'll see a lot of these ideas that they understand the primacy of family, the primacy of this sense of value, that Gashmis is an instrument, is a means. Parnasa is a means, not an end in of itself, and therefore chas v'shalom, that a person should go ahead and have that sense of priorities, as is indicated by the Medrash about Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven, prioritizing their materialism over their families. Last night I had the privilege of being at a siyum, actually a double siyum hashas, that was given at the NCSY Kol. It was a very, very inspiring evening, and to me, in my mind, it inspired again an idea, a message that as we go ahead and we see so many people over the next 10, 11 days are going to be Messiah Shas, very, very inspiring. But the next day, the very next day, it doesn't stop. No one's going to be sitting back on their laurels and saying, I'm done. I've completed my mission, 7.5 years of daily toil. They're going to go ahead. Most of those people, I guarantee you, are going to go ahead when they hit brachos, beis and aleph, and then start once again. They're not going to say, you know what, I did my time and that's it. They're going to start beis and aleph, and it's a time for those of us who perhaps are in college or perhaps starting out and working and so forth, where it might be hard to have that formalized Dvar Torah, but not a terrible idea to think seriously. Start with brachos, see if you can pull it off. An hour and a half a day, daf yomi, and perhaps after you Messiah one Maasei, you'll be inspired another and another and another, and who knows what we might be celebrating in 7.5 years from now. I'd advise you to take real consideration. Think very deeply. Maybe it's a good idea. I know I'm thinking about it very seriously. I think it's a great idea and something that everyone should be very seriously thinking about and considering. Have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbos.